Hey everybody, we are back to talk a little
college football.
college football.
Week 2 recap.
We're going to do a little week 2 recap, and then we're going to jump in and do a little week 3 preview. We are 1 week away
from SEC
ball. SEC football. Woo-hoo-hoo. And it turns out we're about a month away from
the Big Ten joining the party.
Big Ten football. Big Ten's back in the party now. They're going to try to squeeze in enough games to still get in to qualify for the.
To this, it shows progression.
Yeah,
towards a more normal world.
Yeah, and then there's there's the Pac-12 now, so the Pac-12 I think may try to get back in too. So we actually may have some normal football towards the end of this year, to where people are fighting and jockeying for position, and then we have the playoffs.
But the Big Ten's getting 8 games, which is less margin for error for Ohio State. One loss, and pretty much their playoff hopes are...
One loss, and you could mess up. But everybody's that way, because the SEC is playing 10 games, but if they're all SEC games...
They're going to beat each other up.
There's not a lot of margin to mess up there either. It's going to be interesting to see how this goes. But we don't want to get into it too deep right now, because the playoffs will come when the playoffs come later. We'll do a little recap of week 2. First of all, we're just doing the ranked teams, because there's not a lot of. Normally we do like top 10 or top 15.
But since this year hasn't given us much in terms of content, we're going to do with what we have.
Yeah, we only had 6. We had 6 ranked games last week, so we'll cover them real quick. We had Syracuse at North Carolina.
North Carolina started out slow in that game. And in the fourth quarter, they played up to their standard.
Yeah, they ended up winning 31-6. Their defense held them down pretty good.
Held down the fort, 6 points, giving up all game. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and talking about another team that started out slow but finished, Notre Dame, Duke at Notre Dame.
Another team that started off slow, and probably due to the lack of practice.
Yeah, there's been a lot of lack of practice, a lot of players not, so.
That could contribute to some of the slow starts.
It's going to be a little ugly until we get probably mid-season or so, probably. One team that did not look bad, Missouri State at
Red Hot
Oklahoma.
That's what their offense was. They torched through Missouri State.
They torched them like it wasn't nothing.
They ran over Missouri State. They ran through Missouri State. And they ran through Missouri State.
Yes. Rattler was 14 of 17, 290 yards, and 4 TDs.
That
ain't too bad. That ain't too bad, is it? No.
That's pretty good for a debut, even if it's against an FCS school.
Yeah, but he actually looked like Rattler actually looks like he's going to have a pretty strong bite.
Oh,
that's horrid, isn't it? That was bad. That was horrible. So we had Clemson at Wake Forest, a top 25 on the road, 37-13.
Pretty predictable.
I honestly thought Clemson would probably win by more than that, but it was still a pretty good beat down there. We had UTEP at Texas. Speaking of beatdowns,
that is
gracious.
That is
59.
The holy grail of beatdowns there.
59-3.
59-3.
It was bad.
Texas beat the tar out of UTEP.
Yeah, the Texas's quarterback was 25 of 33 for 426 yards and count 5 touchdowns. So that was probably our beatdown of the week, was Texas laying the old smackdown there on UTEP.
Well, they look like to be a sleeper contender, Texas, for the playoffs.
If they played that good, they came out of the gun and they
first play touchdown.
Their offense was not slow. They
was red
boom,
hot.
And they came out of there. So if that's Oklahoma may be getting a little competition.
Because certainly nobody else is going to get any competition for Oklahoma outside of Texas.
No, and that's all of our recap for week 2. We'll go ahead and jump into.
One note about week 2 that I am going to mention right here before we move on. The Big 12 getting curb stomped by the Sun Belt. All 3 matchups against the Sun Belt.
Wait a minute. We did forget one game, and I was actually saving it because in week 2.
I know what game you're talking about.
the Louisiana Raging Cajuns
against Iowa State.
beat Iowa State and beat them pretty handily, dude. 31-14. I mean, the Raging Cajuns.
This is the first time the Raging Cajuns. This is only the second time they've ever beat a top 25 team in their school's history.
Yeah, and they didn't just squeak it out with a trick play at the end. It's 31-14.
The special teams unit looks pretty good. I mean, they returned a punt for a touchdown and a kickoff for a touchdown. So take what you can get with that.
Yeah, Texas was our winner of the week, but Louisiana Raging Cajuns.
The biggest surprise of the week.
Biggest surprise of the week.
The stinker of the week goes to the Big 12.
Yes.
Outside of Oklahoma and Texas.
Everybody else lost, didn't they? Kansas lost, Kansas State lost, Iowa State lost. Again, that was pretty bad there. All right, now we'll go ahead and jump on into week 3. We got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
7, 8,
7,
9, 10.
8, 9 there. We got 9 or 10 ranked games. Starting out, we got Tulsa at Okie State.
Making their debut.
Okie State should win that one pretty easily.
Yeah.
They've got a pretty good
Mike
team
Gundy and a pretty good offense. Of course, I'll pick the Oklahoma State to beat Tulsa.
Yeah, they are ranked number 11 right now. Now it's going to be interesting when the Big Ten come back in a month from now, how the rankings change, because right now the rankings are without the Pac-12 or the Big 12. So
The Big Ten.
I mean the Big Ten.
Big Ten, not the Big
Big
12.
12. Well, there's 12. I think that's stupid name. We got Austin P at Cincy. Cincinnati will beat the doors off of Austin P, I believe.
How dare they use my name in spite?
Yes, they will beat Austin enough to make him pee.
That's really cringeworthy.
34.5 point spread.
I think Cincinnati could meet that.
I think they should too, yeah. And get this, we have the number 19 ranked Louisiana.
First time since the World War that they've been ranked.
Yeah. Number 19 ranked Louisiana Raging Cajuns going to Georgia State.
That should be a comfy win considering how they played against Iowa State.
I think that is a pretty much easy win. They're favored by 15. I think they'll cover it pretty good. I mean, they beat Iowa State at Iowa State by 17. So unless they have a fall back and a little let down or something, which I don't
see happening against Georgia State.
No. We got Syracuse at number 25, Pittsburgh.
It's been a while since Pitt's been ranked.
Yeah, and Pitt's actually favored by 21.5.
I wonder how long they'll be ranked come the midseason. But
hey, one of my favorite running backs in the history of football, NFL, Tony Dorsett.
NFL guru here.
Was a Pitt Panther. So I've got a little soft spot there. Plus, that's also where Johnny Majors
was the coach.
Left, and he was the coach of Pitt Panthers for a little bit. So there's a little softness for Pitt. So their favorite.
You want to take Pitt against Syracuse?
I probably will. 21.5 points is a lot of points, to be honest.
You got a good old classic rivalry game.
But we'll go ahead and take it.
Take Pitt.
Yeah, we got the University of South Florida Bulls going to Notre Dame.
Notre Dame is gonna whip the Irish. Gonna do the good old Shamrock dance.
Yeah, I think they'll beat them pretty good too. I think the line's 24 on that one. Notre Dame didn't look. I mean, they only scored 27 last week, but they got to come together. They should have looked better than they did last week. So hopefully they've had more practice, and we'll go ahead and take the points this time. But
we'll wait and see with
the Irish. Wait and see what the Irish do. And now we got the University of Central Florida Golden Knights.
The first time that they played, they could have played last week, but they had COVID.
Yeah, they had their game shut down last week. But this week they are at Georgia Tech. They're actually ranked number 14, but they're only favored by 7.5. You know why? Because Georgia Tech
is coming off a high.
Georgia Tech was picked to be last,
and they beat Florida State
last week. So Georgia Tech's not as bad as they thought it was going to be. Georgia Tech came out looking pretty decent. So I'm sure that line has shrunk quite a bit. Central Florida is only favored by 7.5 at Georgia Tech.
I'm going to pick an upset. I'm going to pick the Yellow Jackets.
Oh, the Yellow Jackets beat up. Hey, we'll take it. We'll take a little plus 7.5 right there. We got Appy State. For all you people who aren't from the area, that's Appalachian State. Appy State taking on Marshall in Marshall. Appy State's only favored by 4.5. The Thundering Herd is coming off of a win too, though.
Beat down.
Yeah. How much did they win by?
59.
Ow! So they can score points then. So maybe that's why that line's only 4.5. Or
So,
Marshall can put up some
Do you
points.
want to pick the Mountaineers or do you want to pick the Herd?
I don't know. The Thundering Herd or the Mountaineers.
You want to go with Appy State?
I think I probably would go with Appy State, yeah. Just because until somebody beats Appy State's the king of that region, that area.
King of the Sun Belt.
Yeah, they are. 2 more games to go. We got the Citadel. How does Clemson still get these cream puff games? I mean, it's supposed to be some kind of abbreviated season, and you're playing your best.
Citadel.
I mean, the line's only 46.5.
Dear goodness.
And a bad thing is, I'll probably take Clemson in 40s. I don't know. They only scored 37 last week against Wake.
But I want to take that
take,
line.
Yeah, I'll probably take that line. And then last, we actually have a good matchup. A top 20 matchup.
As of now.
Because
one of the teams will win and one of them will lose.
Yeah, we have number 17 Miami at
number 18 Louisville.
Number 18 Louisville. Both of them coming off of a win. The line is 2.5 points.
Both haven't been ranked in 2 years.
Oh, Louisville being at home is ranked by 2.5. So basically, this is a pick'em game. Either one could win it. I don't know. What do you think? That's a really close game.
I don't know if I'm afraid to pick that one because both teams seem equally matched.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of hard to judge when teams are so evenly contested on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, Louisville won by 14 last week. Miami won by 17.
So do you want to give the edge to the Hurricanes?
I probably would because I think Miami beat a better team. Miami beat UAB by 17 last week. And Louisville beat Western Kentucky by 14. I think UAB is probably the better team between Western Kentucky UAB. So we'll just play that right now until we see how these teams go. We'll play those odds. We'll take us a little Hurricane plus 2.5.
Want to go to Miami?
We pick Kentucky. Miami. Yes. All right, we got Miami on that one, and that's it. We are
surprisingly short.
Surprisingly done and short. But there's not a lot going on right now.
So
we got 7 games last week to talk about and 10 games this week to talk about, so we only had 17 games.
Hopefully we can get a little more as we progress onto the season with the Big Ten coming around.
Like if we had top 15 teams last week to talk about and top 15 teams to talk about, it would be almost twice as many teams as we talked about today. But hey, it's college football. We'll take whatever we can get from it. It's college football.
Especially this year.
It's going forward. There's nothing bad happened yet.
Let's hope the conferences seem to be coming back. Continues.
Yeah, sir. So that's it. That's it for college football this week. We hope you had some fun. Be sure and hit us like and subscribe at the bottom. Leave us some comments.
Hit the groovy button.
Tell us who your picks for the week are. We need to start doing like a lock of the week or something like that on the pick or whatever. But hit the groovy baby button. Just let us know what's up.
Somewhere on my face.
Somewhere over there somewhere. Other than that, we'll see you next week.
See you next week.